So, you want fantasy book recommendations with a fantasy-forward plotline and a small subplot of romance? Well, you're in luck because that happens to be one of my absolute favorite genres, and I can't wait to talk about it. I was asked to compile a recommendation list for these types of books that also have incredible writing, and your girl will always deliver, so let's get right into it. Starting off with my favorite example of this, we have the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a Middle Eastern-inspired fantasy with djinn lore, incredible world building, political intrigue, and so much history and lore. This series is absolutely fantasy first with a very small subplot of romance. The fantasy plotline of this series is seriously so well done. It is so intricate and it absolutely has some of my favorite world building to date. There are so many layered pieces to this story, but then the romantic subplot is truly what will push you into absolute emotional distress in the best way possible, and it really does just add so much to the story. Continuing with another Middle Eastern inspired fantasy, we have the Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashem. This is a beautiful story with another incredibly detailed and well thought out world and magic system. There's so much political intrigue, there's rebellion going on in this story, and an absolutely stunning personal journey that we go on with our FMC as she is dealing with the traumas of her past. I will say, however, the romance subplot in this is absolutely delectable. It is like real enemies to lovers, like born mortal enemies to barely lovers. And when I tell you, it is a type of slow burn that absolutely makes you giggle and kick your feet because it's the kind where it's like, oh, like our pinkies brushed and I had butterflies. It truly is just so good. Now we have one of my favorite cozy fantasies, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Faucet. Here, our curmudgeonly professor journeys to the North to finish her Encyclopedia of Fairies, and her academic rival joins her uninvited, and the two of them end up much more intertwined with the Fae than they ever would have thought. The Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig is the series that got me into gothic fantasy, which if you follow me, you know that I absolutely love, and I will forever be grateful to this series. I think the plot of this series is so unique, so well done, and it really does not need the romantic aspect of it, but obviously it adds a lot to the story. I will also say that Rachel Gillig's writing style matches the gothic atmosphere of this book so well. It just complements each other so nicely. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by E Schwab has some of the most beautiful writing I had read to date, and it is absolutely my favorite character-driven story. This book truly is a love letter to humanity and history as we follow our FMC essentially make a deal with the devil and then have to deal with the consequences. Now moving on to the YA section of this video, we have the Legendborn cycle by Tracy Dion. I am still so impressed with this series to this day because most fantasy books have one magic system. This one has 3, and the world building is seriously just so good. Our romance here is actually called a love entanglement according to the author herself, and although it is not the driving plot point of the story, I think it adds such an interesting layer and an interesting dynamic to our characters. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black obviously will fall into this category because this is an extremely politically driven plotline that does have a hint of real enemies to lovers as well. And when I say enemies, these two loathe each other. What other books would you guys add to this list? Let me know in the comments.